What's good? What's good? Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. How you guys doing? Another episode of Coffee and Sports in the Morning. Here with your host, your boy Coach Dante. I got on side of me to my right, we got the man, we got the myth, that the man that sit up here last week and witnessed me and him in the disrespect that Freddie put on Patrick Mahomes last weekend was ridiculous. I'm still thinking about that. My guy, wire to wire, Gene and Mo. The man, Mo, my guy, the co-host of the morning show, my partner in crime on the morning show, Mo Better. How we guys doing this morning, y'all?
I'm phenomenal, brother. How you feeling?
Doing great, Coach Gene.
Well, yeah, I'm doing awesome. I'm doing awesome, man. So, and we got the guy, man, the man that did say, and I've been waiting on this now. I've been waiting on this, and I've been wanting to get this guy up here. This guy, Jonathan, had a great time the other day. The man that said LSU was gonna beat Bama by gonna put 60 points on Bama, man. Godly. 60 points the man, Jonathan. Good morning, Jonathan. How you doing, Jay? How you doing, JG?
Morning, fellas. Morning, fellas. How you guys doing?
What's poppin'?
Yeah, man. So got a hell of a morning show coming up for you guys, man. NFL training camps started yesterday. So again, shout out to everybody. So we're gonna go ahead and dig right into the topics. And we're gonna deal with what Jim Irsay basically said about the running back situation. It said we had negotiated a CBA that's took years of effort and hard work. So what you guys think about what Jim Irsay said?
All right, well, I guess I'm starting here. I feel like I'm going to go too deep on this. I feel like I'm going to go too deep on this too early. Jim Irsay, Jerry Jones, Stephen Ross, a lot of these owners just need to shut up and make their money. I think that it's a real huge mistake for him to get out in the media and try to get in front of this. There's the commissioner of the league. There's public relation officials. I don't need to hear Jim Irsay talk about the most undervalued position in football, and they're not renegotiating anything for the running backs. Jonathan Taylor's already responded to it. He wasn't happy about the comments. It feels undervalued. He says he's their best offensive player. I could see Jim Irsay getting so annoyed. He goes to the GM. He goes, get rid of him, trade him, cut him. It's laughable at best. I try not to get too deep on these topics, but you guys know my thoughts on this. You guys understand. I think there's a lot of really, really poor owners in the NFL. I think a lot of the owners of NFL teams are, for a lack of a better terms, they don't value the people that bring in their income. The Indianapolis Colts are valued over $1 billion as a franchise, and we're talking about whether Jonathan Taylor deserves $10 or $14 million. Like, I really just – I can't take Jim Irsay opening his mouth and saying dumb stuff over and over and over again. He got involved in a million different things with the franchise. I think he's part of the reason that they haven't drafted a quarterback and got behind a quarterback up until this past year. He kept going through retread after retread. You went from Phillip Rivers to Carson Wentz to Matt Ryan. Jim Irsay is a terrible owner of the Indianapolis Colts. You also realize that it's funny because he was one of the reasons that Josh McDaniels that balked on the deal because of what he did in his house, and that was inappropriate with his wife. I'm not a fan. I'm never going to be a fan. Not a Jim Irsay guy, and I think that he's somebody needs to put a muzzle on him.
Got you, JG.
I mean, this just shows, and I kind of said this with you guys before, the NFL owners have no fear. And kind of going with what Gene just said, they have no fear to be able to be public in how they feel about their players, feel about the situation. I mean, in a way, Irsay is right. I'll say this. In a way, Irsay is right. CBA has been agreed upon. Players, your representatives have agreed upon the CBA. What do you want us to do? We're not going back and changing on it, but it just shows the power that the owners have for the players, that they can make a comment and have no fear. Nick Chubb said it best in the Zoom meeting when they were talking about ideas of what can the running back class, what can the running backs do to at least help themselves. Nick Chubb goes, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing we can do because we've been, in a way, and I've said this with you guys, I put this on Damari Smith. I put this on the union of the NFL. You allowed the owners to have the power that they have now. You've allowed this to be the case to where now they can control your value of a football player, no matter what position. Again, quarterbacks are the money makers. They're going to continue to go skyrocket, but running backs who 15, 20, 25 years ago, 30 years ago were very valued. If you had a good running back, your offense was going to be moving really well. Now, again, the game's changed, but you still need that. And we talk about it. You need to have good running backs, but they have decided, we're not paying running backs. We're not going to do that. And if anybody speaks out like what's going on right now, me as the owner, I'm going to say, you're an idiot. Stop it. Shut up and go run the football for me. So I feel bad being a pro player union. I'm for player union. But in a way, you have to accept blame, and you have to blame your representatives. You have to blame Damari Smith to be in this situation that you're in right now. And in a way, Jim Irsay, he's right. And that's the worst part about it.
I don't think he's incorrect, John. I think that his comments are correct on what he said. I don't think he should have said them. And when you look at Jim Irsay, right? You want to talk about a model of consistency. This man's been arrested 3 times over the last 9 years. You want to talk about in 2014 when the guy was arrested with $29,000 in cash and 4 controlled substances in his car. If any player had that situation happen to them, they'd be suspended from the league.
Yeah.
Jim Irsay also was arrested in 2022 for a DUI just a year ago. Jim Irsay needs to keep himself out of the media. Jim Irsay needs to sit back and collect the damn paycheck. And he is part of that organization of owners that I can't get behind. Like, no matter what they say, whether they're right or wrong, I will always be on the side of the players because he's a jerk off. You got Dan Snyder, Jerry Jones. There's so many of them that were terrible. And I can't take his outlandish crap.
Get it, and I agree with you. I do. Taking the personal side of it as far as what he is and who he represents himself as, 100% agree. But just in the comments itself, it kills me because, like I said, what did he say that's wrong? And that's why I said the owners have so much power in the NFL that there's no fear. Jonathan Taylor can be mad all he wants. What's that going to do to him? Nothing. It's not. What's that going to do for him? I'm sorry, nothing. When his contract's up, he's going to do the same thing that they're doing to Saquon right now, doing the same thing to Josh Jacobs right now, and he's going to say, "You don't like it? Go see what's on the open market." You may have one team that'll overpay you, but everybody else is going to see the same thing that I see, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yep. Mo?
I would just say that leave it to Jim Irsay to kick a man when he's down. Not necessary to say anything. We all know the market for running backs. We know the situation. They were talking and they were venting about their situation. And that's what players do. Voice your opinion. Say what you think is wrong. Say what you think should change. Even though they have no power, he would have been good if he just said nothing. He didn't have to say anything. It's not your Gene and JG are both right. He's right in what he said, but it was not necessary. The point's made. The market is what it is. Nothing changes. But that was Jim Irsay being Jim Irsay. If you know the history of him as the owner of the Colts, what he's done as the owner, what he's done off the field as a human being, it's not surprising. Like I said, he's the guy that will kick you when you're down. The NFL doesn't have a player problem. They've got a power dynamic that's really off because of the way the owners are. Look at how long it took for Dan Snyder to finally be rid of Dan Snyder. And if you look at the litany of things that Dan Snyder had done, it shouldn't have took that long. it should not have taken that long. He did some stuff that was literally criminal and walked away clean. He skated. He actually made a profit and walked away clean. So I'll just shorten this and go off of what Gene said. Jim Irsay is a jerk, and he had to be his true self and speak out on an issue that wasn't necessary for him to comment on. And I'll leave it at that.
I mean, if we're going to pretend that the running back contracts are fair comparatively to what's going on in the league, I understand why they're not getting paid. I understand, and we talked about this before, right? You know, there's too many good running backs. You can replace them. And you look at the Philadelphia Eagles situation, it's perfect. They let Miles Sanders go. He made $6.5 million in Carolina. They have 4 running backs on their roster making less than that. They have Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott. Their combined salary isn't what Miles Sanders is making. I understand why it's happening, but it's criminally underpaid. You look at the Giants situation, let's take it a step further. Daniel Jones is getting $45 million this year. Saquon Barkley is getting 11. If you watched that team last year play, and you told me this one quarterback's worth $45 million and the running back that carried the team's worth 11, I mean, it's crappy.
Yeah.
Got y'all. So we have a trade yesterday in baseball, but it's not Shohei Ohtani. It wasn't Shohei Ohtani going away. The Angels got 2 pitchers. They got a relief pitcher, and they got a starting pitcher, which is Lucas Giolito from the White Sox, which he was expected to be traded. White Sox expected to be sellers this trade deadline, and Ronaldo Lopez for they got Bush. They got Bush, and I can't understand the other one name. They look like 2 prospects right back from the Angels, and Angels not trading Shohei Ohtani. Is this the right move? Is this the right move for the Angels to try to make a playoff push? So to some degree, do it shows that they trying to make a playoff push and that they trying to do everything they could to keep Shohei Ohtani down. Gene, I'm gonna start off with you.
No, the Angels have to be one of the worst organizations I've ever seen in my entire life. Generational talents. You have Trout and you have Ohtani on your team, and they stink. They've never won a playoff game. They've won a playoff game with either one of those guys there. Go look at the Angels for the last 15 years and the moves that they made. Justin Upton, 5 years, $106 million. Mo Vaughn, remember that in 1999? $80 million.
Yeah.
I know it's 25 years ago. I get it. But Albert Pujols, 10 years, $240 million. He lived up to it for 2. Anthony Rendon got 7 years, $245 in 2019. Josh Hamilton, coming off a heroin overdose, got 5 years, $125 million. That franchise stinks. They're terrible. You have a guy in Shohei Ohtani that would allow you to rebuild the right way by getting young prospects in that organization. You're going to get the biggest haul you ever got for anyone in a trade. If you trade Ohtani and then Trout in the offseason, you trade them and you rebuild the right way. Obviously, they have the money to spend. They want to re-sign Ohtani. They spent all that money on Trout. They spent that money on Rendon. Why would you not just retool the right? You're going to lose him in the offseason. What are the chance? JG is going to tell you right in a minute. He's a baseball guy. What are the chances that Shohei Ohtani re-signs with the Angels next year? I don't know. Less than 1. I don't think there's any chance he re-signs with the Angels next year. So you're going to let one of the most generational talents ever, the best two-way player ever since Babe Ruth, you're going to let him walk out the door for nothing. So, no, it's a stupid move. And you had a deal on the table with the Baltimore Orioles to get 4 to 5 major league ready players to walk on the field. And you're going to keep Ohtani for 4 months and not make the playoffs. That's great.
JG?
I mean, I agree. You got to do what's best for the organization. In this case, that he's not going to resign. The only way he resigns with the Angels is to make a run in the postseason and they get to the World Series. That's the only way, which not going to happen. Just not. But they had to. I'll say this: and I've said this numerous times with people that I've talked to about the Ohtani situation, they have no choice but to hold on to him unless they are blown away with a Juan Soto plus deal. Juan Soto brought the Nationals 5 prospects that were 3 of them were in the top 50 of all Major League Baseball prospects. And they got 2 that were right outside the top 50. So they got a really good deal in the Soto deal last year. The Nationals did. The Angels wanted that plus more. So if they didn't, and is that a little bit too much to be? Of course, it might be a little too much. But again, at the same time, it is Shohei Ohtani. That is the market for what you're going to ask for, and that's what they wanted for him. No team was going to give. No team was going to give them what they wanted because no matter what, he's going into free agency. If you had a guarantee that negotiations of contract with Ohtani after you trade could be started and be made, changes the outcome, I think, a little bit more for some teams to say, if I can make this trade and I start the negotiations to get him going and being in my club for a long term, I think you have a lot of teams line up and say, let's go. But there is no guarantee to that. And he's and his agent and him have said, we're going to free agency. We're going to go and see what the market says in the offseason, and we're going to go from there. So you're not guaranteed on signing him long term. So what's the point for me as a club knowing I'm going to have to, one, overpay for, yes, a generational talent, one of the best baseball players in the game today, with the risk of not having him in my clubhouse long term. It doesn't make a lot of sense for me versus, look, yeah, I can keep my prospects and then sign him in the offseason if that's my goal. The Angels had no choice to essentially say no to offers because they have to make a selling point to the fan base, which the fan base has already turned on them for many years now because of how they misused Mike Trout. Made one postseason appearance with Mike Trout in his career. And now you're doing the same thing with Shohei Ohtani. You had to be buyers right now, and that's what they did. I actually like the Lucas Giolito trade for the Angels. It does show to them, at least to the fans, we're trying. Now, to the fans, they're not going to care after Ohtani leaves. And yes, I agree with you, Gene. It's about a 1% he's re-signing. 1% he stays in Anaheim. He needs a culture of winning. That's what he wants, a culture of winning. Well, the Angels are one of the farthest teams away from a winning culture in Major League Baseball. But at the same time, you can go to your front office, you can go to your fan base and say, we brought Lucas Giolito. We're going to probably make another trade here pretty soon before the deadline. We are all into proving to Ohtani that we are wanting to win. And guess what? He leaves. We tried. It didn't work. The fan base will believe it for that much. And they're going to turn back on the owner and say, this is your fault. You screwed up. You didn't give him an opportunity to be here with a winning team for his career. But they had no choice to say no and just try to be a winner this year. And as I've said before with them, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Instead of maybe doing what's right and trading and getting something in return, they're going to buy in to improve the fan base and prove to Ohtani, at least, we're going to try, work with us.
Mo, you can when you answer the question, I do want to ask you something. Do you still stand on the fan base will have to be mad at you by trading Ohtani at the trade deadline? Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Come on, me.
Yeah, you did.
They'd have to be mad at me. Look, I defer baseball matters to JG because he's the baseball guy. He's sharp as a tack. But look, just from the outside looking in, the idea that we're going to get credit because we tried to make a run and you guys are going to understand that he's leaving anyway, yeah, that doesn't work for me. I'd rather get something. And if you're not going to get the best deal, still get something. The idea that he's going to actually walk and you get nothing, I've got a problem with that. I don't care if the fans are upset. I've got to get some kind of value. If we don't make it to the World Series, which they're not going to, and he just walks for nothing, if I'm the fan base, I'm going to kill you even more. I'm going to be that much more angrier. So I'd rather you put together a package and come away with some prospects. Show me that you're trying to do something for the future rather than throw a Hail Mary and think that he's going to look at that and go, you know what? After what they just did and we didn't make the World Series anyway, I'm going to stay. I think it's less than 1% that he stays. So I'm not a baseball guy. Again, but I'm just talking about from a common sense standpoint, something is still better than nothing.
Listen, when you look at the Angels as a whole, you look at their depth chart, right? When you look at their pitching rotation.
Oh, I was just about to ask you that question too. I wanted to ask you that question because all them guys that you named on that list they invested in hitting, but not one pitcher showed up on that list. They didn't invest in enough.
Oh.
Could that be a problem in the organization? I was just going to ask y'all that.
So you got Giolito, and then after Giolito and after Giolito and Ohtani, you got Patrick Sandoval, Reed Detmers, and Griffin Canning. Like, are we out of? You think that team's going to make a run at the playoffs? No. I'm tired of seeing. This is what happens every morning on SportsCenter. I turn it on. I don't get a chance to watch every Angels game. I turn it on, and it goes, Mike Trout hit 2 home runs, and Shohei Ohtani's the first player to do this since Babe Ruth, and the Angels lose 8-4. It's every week. Ohtani's doing something that's never been done before. Trout's hitting for the cycle, and the Angels lose 9-7. They stink. And the point, and JJ, I don't look, man. I know the Angels have to sell their fan base on coming out to the ballpark, but are we really concerned of what they're going to do the next 3 months of the season? Because they're not going to show up next year. So we're talking about what they're going to do in August and September.
Yes.
I don't care if anybody shows up. The moment you start listening to fans is the moment you become one. Shohei Ohtani needed to be traded for prospects. You could have got 3 top 50 prospects for him. The Baltimore Orioles were sitting there at the table with 4 major league ready players to just hand them. 2 of them top 50 prospects, 1 of them in the major leagues. They were ready to hand. The Arizona Diamondbacks were ready to mortgage their future for him. Just to rent him for 2 months. It's laughable to me, guys. I can't see it.
To the point, I'm not saying that they're listening to the fan base as far as saying, well, hey, we need to keep Art Moreno. We talk about bad owners in the NFL. Art Moreno is the same when it comes to Major League Baseball. He's just a bad owner who is lining his pockets out and just doing what he can to market for himself and for the team to make money versus being a winner. That's why you say you go down the list. You said Albert Pujols, Josh Hamilton, Justin Upton. As far as pitching wise, and to answer Coach's question about it, the last big name pitcher they brought in was C.J. Wilson from the Texas Rangers, who spent 1 season as a starting pitcher. He was a closer for the Rangers, and they paid him $100 million to come and be the number 1 pitcher which he was not a number 1 pitcher in Texas, but they paid him. They have a very big problem, the Angels do, as far as how they handle the scouting and how they handle the determination of who they sign in the front office. But that all falls on Moreno, because Moreno wants big name guys who are not productive or not going to be productive or have no future to being productive. It's just a name. And the biggest thing that he does is he's not trying to convince. That's the farthest thing Art Moreno is trying to do. He doesn't try to convince the fan base. He tries to sell the fan base that, hey, I'm trying. Regardless of what you think about me, whatever you think that how I'm doing for this team, I'm trying. I brought in Anthony Rendon. Yes, you overpaid for him. He should not be making the money he's making right now. I brought in Albert Pujols. Overpaid for him. Good name. You sold a lot of tickets, but shouldn't have done that for it. I got Justin Upton. I got Josh Hamilton. I got all these great guys. These were ball players for previous teams. I sold what we can do and be able to go get these guys. But the problem is the fan base saw right through it. That it was not for the team to be better. It was for you to make money. And that's what Art Moreno is about. So what he's doing is he's bringing Lucas Giolito in and convincing, I'm trying. Fan base, I'm trying. You got to believe me. But as you said, Ohtani's going to walk, and they're going to be like, you had 5 years to do something for Ohtani. You had 12 to 13 years to do something with Mike Trout. Oh, but I made a move here and there. I did, but it wasn't enough. And that's what he's trying to convince the fan base. He's trying to convince them and sell them on the moves he makes are good enough to be a winning team. But everybody sees it's not.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We got Cottrell in the chat. We got E in the chat. E, We got Brandon in the chat, Marlon Bradley, man. Jackson Smith, the gym looked pretty good yesterday. And we got Slay up in the building. So Aaron Rodgers takes a $35 million pay cut when he had a near 110 million guaranteed on previous contracts. On previous contract. Mo, I'm gonna start with you and give me a reaction on Aaron Rodgers taking a pay cut.
He's just a really good guy. he's all about team. I was a little surprised, but when they restructure the deal, they're just going to push it down the road. He's going to make his money. So I know what it looks like now, but I think they have a plan for him. I think that the Aaron Rodgers plan, at least for the Jets, he's not going to be a one-off. I think they plan on him being there 2-3 years. They're hoping, and this is a big hope, that he can extend his career and play at a high level, a la Tom Brady, who's 101. I don't know if anybody can play at a high level at that age, advanced age, like Brady can. Brady probably can still play at a high level, I believe. But I think that's what the Jets believe Aaron Rodgers will be for them. So the deal doesn't shock me, but it looks good for PR, but it doesn't shock me at all.
JG?
I mean, I'm sure they have some against New York. So you cut $35 million off your salary. They'll find you an endorsement in New York to where you can make that money back. So it's not like he's going to be hurting, on this cut. But I think it's also not a coincidence that as the announcement that he took a pay cut, they're flying Dalvin Cook into the city today as well to potentially, I guess, maybe make an offer to Dalvin Cook to bring him in and add him to the running back core. So there was a plan, and much like Mo said, there was a plan in place. And I'm sure Rodgers, knowing that, hey, if I do take a cut, helps the team out to bring some more weapons and bring some players in. Maybe that gives us a chance to compete in this division, which is going to be a really good division. Makes us a chance to compete in the AFC, which is probably one of the best it's ever been with the amount of quarterbacks and teams that you're competing against. So it was very smart. It was an ideal situation that probably needed to happen for the Jets, particularly to add more pieces and be able to build something that can be special this year and put some more talent around Rodgers that they need to excel in this division and be able to score. Because, again, you have great offense in the Buffalo Bills. You have a great offense in the Miami Dolphins just in your division alone. So you're going to need some more weapons around Rodgers to really excel and be able to compete for a division title.
Okay, so we all talk about how Aaron Rodgers is this egotistical guy, and I believe that there's some truth to that. I don't think he's the best guy in the world. But when are we going to give Green Bay a lot of the blame for everything that happened with Aaron Rodgers? The Green Bay Packers drafted Aaron Rodgers in the first round in 2005. 2006, they took A.J. Hawk, defense. Justin Harrell, defense. B.J. Raji, defense. Clay Matthews, defense. Brian Bulaga, offensive line. Derek Sherrod, offensive line. Nick Perry, defense. DeTony Jones, defense. Clinton Dix, defense. Demarius Randall, defense. Kenny Clark, defense. Jair Alexander, defense. Rashawn Gary, defense. Darnell Savage, defense. Here's the first offensive skill position player they took since Aaron Rodgers got drafted. Jordan Love. You guys can say what you want to say about Aaron Rodgers, and I'm not saying he's the best guy. He's a model of excellence, but the New York Jets want to win, and Aaron Rodgers wants to win, and they have skill position players, and they need to pay Aaron Rodgers. They also need to pay an offensive line, right? They need to bring in a guard. They need to bring in maybe Dalvin Cook to be a running back that can block for him, like Breece Hall is completely getting healthy. I look at their offensive line. You got Dwayne Brown, Laken Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, Elijah Vera Tucker, and Mekhi Becton. They need a little help there. And I think that what that signifies is that New York, I want to win. Here's me showing I want to win. Here's a little bit of money back to bring in a guy to protect me a little bit.
Like I said, I agree with you on that, G. About the Packers thing, I definitely agree with you on that.
I mean, they need part of the blame, coach. And like,
I agree with you.
Devontae Adams is the only real weapon that they drafted for him. Jordy Nelson was a second-round pick too, but if you really go through it, Randall Cobb was a fifth-round draft pick. It's like, what did they bring in to help him? Aaron Jones, fifth-round draft pick, just a lot.
Well, for a while, there has been conversation about the Packers being blamed. I think this year, this would be the year that if that you have full amount of blame thrown the Packers' way if they absolutely tank this season with Jordan Love, and they're going to sit there and say you didn't do enough again with another quarterback who you took full advantage of using Rodgers and relied on Rodgers to help this team just be a competitor. So now you have a young quarterback. If he struggles out the gate, if he struggles this season and you don't win, if you don't finish above 500, which that's not the Packers. We know Packers supposed to be a lot, this is the storied franchise. They're always contending for playoff spot. But if you have Jordan Love absolutely struggled this year with the weapons that he has and they don't do it, you're going to see a lot of blame thrown at the Packers' way. Brian Gutekunst, everybody's going to be on the hot seat at this point because they overvalued in a way of what Rodgers can do for this franchise. And I think this is going to be it's going to be exposed here pretty soon this season if Love does struggle.
Well, JG, you said something that's really intelligent, right? You said that Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and this historic franchise, for the last 30 years, they've had two generational quarterbacks and they've only won one Super Bowl each. That's terrible. That's awful. You have two top 10 quarterbacks of all time, and you've only won one Super Bowl each for each one of them. It's laughable. Laughable at best. Packers organization's a lot. You look at what the Jets did. The Jets are like, no problem. We'll bring in Nathaniel Hackett. You like him. We'll have him. Oh, you like Alan Lazard? No problem. We'll sign him to a contract. It's a give and take, right? When you start giving Aaron Rodgers what he wants, everything he wants, okay, no problem. Here's some money back. Get me an offensive lineman. I just feel like that this is the narrative that Rodgers is bad and Green Bay is good. It's just played out. That's not what it is, right?
You're right. And Rodgers. I think if you peel the onion more, I think you're starting to see. I think you're going to start seeing people kind of sway to Aaron Rodgers' side and everything that's going on in Green Bay over the last, let's just say, 5 years of his time. You're going to see a lot more people sway to that because, again, it's talk about value. Talk about value for the running backs. Rodgers was valued very well in Green Bay, and he put up with a lot of the nonsense with Gutekunst because there was so much back and forth public talk between Brian Gutekunst and Aaron Rodgers, and you kind of sit there and go, wait a minute, you're on the team. Why are you talking? At this point now, you're starting to see some more people go, you know what? Rodgers was right. Rodgers was right, and they didn't do it again. You had a chance for the Packers. Your new number one quarterback. You had receivers to look at in the draft this year, and they still passed on them. They still passed on opportunities to give your quarterback a chance in Jordan Love to be successful, and they didn't do it.
I think they'll severely miss not taking Dalton Kincaid at 13 instead of taking Lucas Van Ness. Dalton Kincaid would have been the perfect security blanket for a young quarterback to come in the league. It's a mistake. It'll forever live as a mistake. I don't care how good of a career Lucas Van Ness has. And I think he can be a good player. But you had the perfect security blanket for a young quarterback sitting there at 13, and you just passed on it.
But the part that makes me scratch my head is the last two head coaches in Green Bay. You had McCarthy, and oh my God, I'm blanking.
Holmgren.
Huh?
Holmgren.
Oh, yeah, Holmgren, and then I'm blanking on the coach's name now.
Is it this year?
Yeah, right now the coach that's been there for the last few years.
LaFleur.
Yes, thank you, LaFleur. You've had offensive-minded coaches. Normally, how I view and what I've been as a Saints fan, we had Sean Payton. We do value offensive positions a lot, and we have gone towards the defensive side, but we still value offensive positions. Why are we in Green Bay with offensive-minded coaches with a quarterback who's going to be in the Hall of Fame? Why are you not helping him more? And again, now you have the same thing right now with LaFleur and with Gutekunst. You have a first-year quarterback who's not first-year quarterback, but he's been in the league for a little bit, but it's his first year as a starter. Why are we not doing something to help him be successful? Dalton Kincaid, you had 2 receivers that were there in the draft at that point that you could have probably gone after as well. Like, you had opportunities to better this team and better that. The blame is going to be magnified, and it's going to be away from Rodgers because more so, especially if he has success in New York with a number 1 draft with a first-round pick in Garrett Wilson, with a running back in Breece Hall, with the guys they have in New York. You're going to see a lot of blame taken away from Rodgers as far as situation in Green Bay, and it's going to be just absolutely thrown at the Packers' way if this continues going down this road for them.
I think this season, in Green Bay with Jordan Love, you're going to find out just how great and how valuable Aaron Rodgers was. You're going to find out how many bad things or weaknesses he covered up.
So we got the last topic for JG. People already getting used to the nickname, man. People already getting used to the initial nickname right there. So last night we had a little situation in Houston where the bench is cleared. A little bit. It wasn't any fight. It was some rejections. My catcher Maldi got rejected from taking up for his teammate, from taking up for how Marcus Semien tried to show up the Astros last night, and Marcus Semien didn't take Varma Valdez hit too well. He hits a home run off of him. He looks at him. Then Adolis Garcia hits a grand slam. He jumps literally on the plate. The initial reactions, JG, of the bench is clearing in the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros game.
Rivalry.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's a rivalry, and it's actually being renewed right now because for the longest time, it was the Houston Astros. It wasn't a rivalry for the last 6, 7, 8 years, almost a decade.
We dominate, yo.
Astros have dominated this series with the Rangers, and now the Rangers, who I'll say this, it was coming, not just because of what happened on the field, but if you go back earlier this year where Rangers players were making comments saying, we don't care what they've done over the last 5, 6 years. This is our division now. They have to earn it from us this year in 2023. Rangers players were saying that, which if I'm sitting back and go, if I'm a player on the Rangers and I heard that, I'm like, what are you doing? We haven't won this division, in over a decade. What are you doing? But at the same time, I get it. But the other side of me is like, yeah, I love that. That's the confidence in that. And it was coming. This was going to happen, especially if the Rangers, who play like they're supposed to do and have to continue being hot because the Astros are on their heels, you have to show Big Brother, which is what the Astros are to the Rangers. You have to show Big Brother, we're going to fight back. And that's what that last night was. I don't mind what the Rangers did. They had to show the Astros, you're in a dogfight for this division this year, and we are better than you right now. So over the top, maybe, but if I'm the Rangers, you had to send a message to the Astros saying you're going to have to absolutely fight us to win this division, and I don't mind that at all.
Gene?
I love it. I absolutely love it. The Houston Astros have been the class of that division, and I blame this on Bruce Bochy. Look, Bruce Bochy comes in there finally, a Texas Rangers manager, to actually bring an attitude to that team. Look, was Houston wrong? Absolutely not. Houston's in the right in this situation. Texas is definitely showing them up and jumping on the plate and, Cadillac trot on the home run. And that's okay. I'm good with that. I don't think Houston's wrong for protecting their turf, but I also love that Texas is coming. Listen, it brings me back to 2007. The New York Mets were the class of the division. They had Johan Santana. They were the best team in the NL East. And if Jimmy Rollins said, it's our division to win, we're the team to beat this year in 2007. And then with 7 games back with 17 to play, the Mets collapsed and the Phillies won the division and went on a run to win a division in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11. And I'm not saying that that's going to happen with the Astros, but it takes an attitude shift. It takes a culture of winning. It takes a new manager. It takes just an overall culture shift for the Texas Rangers. And look, when Big Brother's been beating you up time and time again, it's about time to start throwing some punches back. And I'm glad the Texas Rangers are there, and I'm here for it, right? Baseball needs rivalries. Baseball misses rivalries. I want that more and more. I want to see Yankees, Red Sox. And I want to see Houston, Texas now. Like, it's a beautiful thing to watch that, and it'll be fun to watch down the stretch. I still believe Houston's the better overall team. I don't think Texas has the pitching staff to be able to compete with them. But it's fun to watch Texas fight back. And it's also fun when a good manager brings to an organization. Bruce Bochy's done this for years, right? What he's brought to San Francisco and San Diego in the early 2000s, and now what he's bringing to Texas. I mean, the guy's just a proven winner time and time again.
He's a Hall of Fame manager. He should be. He'll be in the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done.
100%. He's got like 3 or 4 World Series.
I mean, one of the best, and one of the best managers, but I mean, even one of the smartest baseball minds. And I mean, goodness, I love the hire that Rangers did bring in Bochy. It was, and it's as we see, it was a huge difference maker for them.
All right, Mo.
So I don't know the depth of the rivalry, but I know that the Astros have owned that division. I just thought it was fun watching the Rangers act like somebody who was playing dominoes and just busting bones. Like they were hot dogging it. Like they were feeling it, stand on it. And to Houston's credit, you got to respond to that. Getting shown up like that. No, I thought I actually like what both teams did. Gene made a great point. Rivalries make sports. I want to see skill. I want to see competition, but I don't mind some hatred in there too. It's a good thing. So I love it. I love it.
It makes it better. Hatred, when teams hate each other, it makes it better. I want to watch more often, right? What sells fights? UFC, boxing. What sells fights? Hatred, rivalries. I love it.
To which, and that's one thing I've criticized Major League Baseball lately is that they are trying to almost devalue rivalries. Where if you think about it, the only rivalry we ever hear about in today's game is Yankees Red Sox. It's always on ESPN. It's the only one that's going to always be on ESPN. We don't really see much. We don't hear much about Cardinals, Cubs, Braves, Mets. Rangers, Astros. They have almost devalued rivalries in baseball over the last I'd go 10 years because the only one that matters to them is the Yankees Red Sox. But you have rivalries like this throughout. You have, like I said, Braves and Mets are one of the best NL East rivalries in my eyes. Being a Braves fan, you have Rangers, Astros, you have Cardinals, Cubs. You have these rivalries, but they're not being valued to push outside of fan bases. As you said, you need this.
Don't little brother us, JG. Don't little brother us. Don't do that. Braves, Mets. Don't do that. What if the Phillies are a better rivalry to the Braves than the Mets are? We've won a World Series in the last 20 years, and we were the one that sent y'all home last year in the playoffs. So understand that.
I hate both teams equally. I hate both equally. But the arrogance of New York is what I hate more, and I know Philadelphia is very arrogant too. But like I said, I'm not little brothering Philadelphia. I hate Philadelphia equally with the Mets, but
thank you. I need that.
But when you have your star player name is Kid Shea, I mean that kind of tells you where the rivalry of Braves and Mets is on that one. So. But again, that's what baseball needs, though. Baseball needs stuff like that. They need the opportunity to sell and market rivalries to create that excitement like you did last night with Astros Rangers. Yep. And they have almost, especially now with the schedule change where everybody plays everybody, it's totally taken out the fire of rivalries in my eyes, except Yankees Red Sox.
Facts.
Got you. Yeah, I do hate the Yankees. I'm starting to hate the Yankees a lot. But folks, let you get up out of here, JD. Tell people they can follow you at.
Hey, you can check me out on here with you guys on the mornings, on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. I love been doing this with you guys. I feel very honored to be able to do this with you guys here and be able to get connected with Freddie to put me on the show with you guys. So I appreciate that. I appreciate the time. You can also check me out on Facebook and Twitter, Alpha Performance Baseball, Alpha Performance Softball. On Twitter at @B_and_alpha. Check out all the great things. We just actually, to give a shout out, I kind of put it on the network yesterday. We had our 5th college commitment in our program yesterday. So very excited, very happy for that. But check out all the great things we're doing with our program, with all the kids that we're doing with the young ages from 10-year-olds all the way to 18-year-olds.
All right, so before you get out of here, gotta send you out on a good note. You gotta chunk a shot. You gotta chunk a shot at Alabama or whoever you want to chunk a shot. Tell them you build champions over there at LSU, huh?
Yeah.
Y'all build champions over there. Well,
hey, we are America's brand of college sports right now.
There we go.
I mean, again, national champions in multiple sports, number one draft picks in multiple sports. And I'm even going further. We have the top 2 female NIL athletes as well. We are NIL Central in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, throughout America. So it's as I said to you guys, and I'm going to do it right now in front of Gene. It's LSU's world, and everybody's just living in it.
There you go. Hey, who did that 2-time World Series champion Alex Bregman play for?
For Alex Bregman, LSU. Go
There
Tigers.
we go. Yeah, got
Go
it.
ahead, JG, stand on it.
There we go. Yeah, there you go.
JG, it's been fun talking to you on the show and going back and forth. I love to have a guy that can debate and go back and forth, and they know it's all in fun. It's all friendly, so I appreciate that, brother.
Love it, absolutely love it. Appreciate you, Gene, as well with it. Again, it's fun. That's what it's supposed to be about.
Yo, appreciate you, JG, for coming on, man.
Definitely, guys.
Yeah. There we go, man. I had to get him to do it, Mo. I had to get him. You had to get him.
You set him up perfectly. He was waiting for that lob.
So we got man waiting backstage. Tennessee Titans fan, respect them, man. Respect them. Don't hate them. You would think I hate the Tennessee Titans because they're in my division, but I don't hate no team. I don't hate no teams that's in my division or anything. But the man called DeAndre Hopkins. He called on him. Must have gave him a phone call. He must have announced and said, "Hey, man, I'm coming to the Titans." I don't know if he called the front office or not, but they made it happen. They made it happen. So the man, the myth for the last segment is Jay Jones. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. I gotta come on here, tomahawk chop for my man JG. I know Gene, Phillies fan, man. I know they knocked us out last year. We owe y'all this year. We owe y'all.
Yeah. They did not. Yeah, they did beat the
Yeah,
Braves.
they got us out of there quickly too.
We didn't see an elimination game, so
Nah, they got us out. But what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing today, man?
what's poppin', brother?
Doing awesome. So we get to the next topic. It's the top 100. Lamar Jackson is ranked as look at you. It's number 72 on the top 100. He was 36th last year. A reaction, Gene. I'm already coming to you because your reaction.
I think it's a spot on. People are going nuts over this when the guy has quit for the last 2 years on his team. I don't know how high you want to be ranked. You want to be ranked higher? No problem. Go out and prove it this year. I think that there's a lot more problems I have with those rankings than I have Lamar Jackson at 72. Justin Fields being ranked 86 with Trevor Lawrence 96 drives me nuts. Like, I don't understand what Justin Fields did to be ahead of Trevor Lawrence. That's okay. We'll talk about that when we get into that. But Lamar Jackson, everybody being in a stink and him being 72, you were healthy with 3 weeks left to go in the season and you didn't come back. You sat out. You quit on your team. Sorry, Ben Simmons. I mean, Lamar Jackson. It's okay. 72 is about exactly where he should be at. He's a very talented quarterback. He's got all the talent in the world, but the last 2 years, he's not shown up for his team. So let's not live in the 2019 world. The pandemic done happened. I feel like there's been a whole century since Lamar Jackson was an elite NFL quarterback.
Jake?
Man, I don't really get to these rankings, man. They're all over the place, man. I really don't get too wrapped into these things like that, man. I ain't gonna lie, I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. He hasn't had the season we are known for him to have. He doesn't really have any pieces around him. It's just him. Last year he missed all his running backs, but it's based off last season. And last season, I'm not too sure what his numbers were. I don't have them in front of me, but hey, if you're not 72, prove it. Go out. You just got that nice contract. You gotta go out here and prove it. I believe he's a higher ranked quarterback than 72, but based off last season, that's where they ranked him at. And you gotta go out there and prove it and show that he's better than whatever they ranked him at. Get back in that top 30, top 20 ranking, like we know he can do. But hopefully Baltimore can get him some outside pieces. I mean, they got him Zay Flowers, which I think is going to help. I think Odell. What's that?
Nah,
Hey, can we be for real for a minute? Hopefully Baltimore can get him some pieces. They drafted him 2 first-round wide receivers. They drafted him a first-round tight end. I'm sorry that he can't make them good.
No,
it's Lamar's fault. Quarterbacks and wide receivers.
Zay Flowers is probably the best playmaker outside that they've got him this.
And we were saying that about Hollywood Brown, and we were saying that about Rashad Bateman.
I didn't say that about Hollywood. I didn't. Those guys were okay. I'm not going to say that they weren't good, but they weren't. They didn't have star potential in my opinion. But he's got talent this year. He's got OBJ. He's got Zay Flowers. He's still got Mark Andrews. So this year he's got to prove it. He's got to prove he's better than that.
Lamar Jackson has the best apologist of all time. He does. Everybody just won't apologize for him and say he has no talent around him when they built a whole offense around him when he came into the league. The whole offense was built around him. He won an MVP in that offense. And now it's the offense coordinator's fault. It's the talent's fault. No, it's not. He can't throw outside the numbers.
He won that MVP. He won that MVP based off of his scrambling and his legs ability. He didn't win that necessarily. He didn't necessarily win that off his arm. He built that offense around him running the ball. It wasn't built up. If you give him a Devontae Adams or somebody of a Cooper Kupp or somebody on the outside or AJ Brown like Jalen Hurts just got, I guarantee you'll see Lamar Jackson be up there.
I guess we'll find out this year, right? They got Zay Flowers, Odell Beckham Jr. Don't let Baltimore finish last in that division this year because I feel like that's where they're going to finish. I feel like they're going to finish last in that division. Don't let them finish last in that division this year. You watch what happens to Lamar Jackson apologists. They're going to go running. Oh, Odell Beckham Jr. lost the step and Zay Flowers isn't that good, and they need to bring in Devontae Adams now. They can give him Devontae Adams, DeAndre Hopkins, Cooper Kupp. He had the whole damn receiving corps on the Pro Bowl side of the court, and he still will not be able to throw for them to hit 1,400, 1,500 yards like other good quarterbacks do.
I disagree with that, but we're going to see.
What has shown you that he can do it?
He's got the arm. His accuracy hasn't been as good as, you know what I'm saying, but he's got arm strength. He can get the ball out. He can get the ball.
Marcus Russell had arm strength, Jay.
No, but I'm saying Lamar Jackson can get the ball out. He can get the ball outside, and he's proven it. Like MVP year, he proved it.
He proved it.
Get him some offensive weapons on the out. They got him a few offensive weapons this year, and we gonna see what he gonna do. If he can't do it this year, if he doesn't do it this year, then hey, he's gonna have to deal with that. I'm not a Ravens fan, so I don't care.
Quit football.
You said who?
Lamar Jackson made Dez Bryant quit football. He's like, oh damn, this is the only quarterback I have to throw me the ball. I'm done. I'm quitting. I'm done with this.
Man, I believe in Lamar, man. I think Lamar can do it. I think he'll have a bounce back year this year.
He better.
If
he don't finish as a top 5 quarterback this year, I don't want to hear any Ravens fans, any Lamar apologists. I don't want to hear any of them because I'm tired of it.
All right, go ahead, Mo.
So this is kind of a running joke with Gene. He can't make all the throws. He can't make all the throws. He is a terrific football player, a terrific playmaker, but he's a better football player than he is a quarterback. I don't think bringing in a big name receiver like if you're Devontae Adams and you care about Pro Bowls and your numbers and productivity, you don't want to play with Lamar Jackson. He's not the kind of quarterback that can throw you open. He can't make deep cut routes. He doesn't throw to the outside that well. He's better at improv. If a play breaks down and he's moving, he's very good at improv. Untimed plays, he's excellent. But if you ask him to step back in the pocket, diagnose the defense, and make a throw, that's not going to happen. That's not who he is. And that's not me saying I don't enjoy watching him. I don't respect what he does well. I'm telling you he's a better football player than he is a quarterback.
I agree 100% with you.
All right.
33% is one of the worst in the NFL in deep ball passing. 33%. His completion percentage drops 6 whole points when throwing outside the numbers versus inside the numbers. throws the ball to Mark Andrews over the middle, and he looks good. He's got an arm. Mike Vick had an arm. Jamarcus Russell had an arm. I don't care if you have an arm. Arm talent is great. You have to be able to use it. And I don't think he can use it outside the number. And Pittsburgh, man, I remember watching the game 2 years ago when Pittsburgh picked him off 3 times in the first half because they played a cover 2 shell defense in which they were making him make that pass over the corners and before the safeties on the outside. They literally just played cover 2 shell, and they made him make the throw over the corner under the safety, and he got intercepted 3 times that game. I watched when it happened, and teams adjusted to it. The Miami Dolphins played a nickel double A versus him on that Thursday night football game where they literally played man coverage and blitzed him. All 6 guys on the line, 2 linebackers, 4 linemen, just came after him, and he looked like a shell. Good defenses will make Lamar Jackson look bad.
Jay, I think he's ranked where he is because I think people are looking at him and saying the days of him rushing for 1,200 yards, I don't think that's going to happen anymore. And if he's not going to be that dynamic player and he's going to spend more time in the pocket as a conventional quarterback, then he's probably going to take a slide. I root for the brother because I enjoy watching him, but he's going to have to take a step up in his ability to throw the football in the pocket. And thus far, I just haven't seen it.
I'm not saying he shouldn't be at 72. I just, based off last season, I'm not mad at him being at 72. So I'm just saying I think he's going to be better because he's going to have some outside playmakers that are going to be able to help him clean up some of those numbers like y'all were mentioning. Like outside playmakers, they matter to a degree. Like, yeah, he may not be able to make every throw, but hey, he's got to prove it this year.
Jay, I appreciate your feedback, by the way. I disagree. And I know I'm in the minority of people that disagree that Lamar Jackson has had weapons and he just hasn't used them properly. But I look at what quarterbacks have done. I look at what I know he's not Tom Brady, but I look at what Tom Brady's done over his career with no weapons. I look at what Aaron Rodgers did when they lost Devontae Adams. I look at what a lot of Drew Brees did with Marcus Colston, and I look at quarterbacks throughout their career and what they've done with moderate weapons. Last year, we talked about Trevor Lawrence taking a huge step, and we all laughed at Christian Kirk's contract. And now we're like, Christian Kirk's a weapon, but Hollywood Brown isn't. Are we really like convincing ourselves that Christian Kirk is a better receiver than Hollywood Brown? Is that like what we're doing to ourselves? Are we really convincing ourselves that Zay Jones is a better receiver than Rashad Bateman? Like, is that what we're doing? Because we're looking at Lamar Jackson and pretending that he just doesn't have weapons. When he's got a top 3 tight end in football, let me ask you a question real quick. Take the quarterbacks, take the offensive line, take the offensive mind out of this situation. Whose receiving core would you rather have, Kansas City's or Baltimore's? Over the last 2 years, last year, this year.
Kansas City or Baltimore? Kansas City had who? Juju.
Darius Toney, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Mecole Hardman.
Over Bateman and
Odell Beckham Jr. now. They have Zay Flowers. They got all these guys.
Well, yeah, this year I would take it. I would take Zay Flowers and OBJ over Kansas City.
I'm just hoping Lamar shows that he can do something with it.
Me too. I'm with you.
Rashad Bateman can be good, but he can't stay on the field. He can't stay on the field. He has injury problem. He has a lot of injury problems. I think that's the wild card for the Ravens receiving core. Receiving core is he can't stay on the field. That's the epitome of Rashad Bateman. But at the end of the day, we all gonna see. We all gonna see can Lamar Jackson, can Lamar Jackson do it? I mean, again, we can't. I ain't gonna say he can improve. I think there's always room for improvement. Weapons do matter. Weapons kind of do matter. I remember when I was talking, and we had that same conversation with Jalen Hurts last year. And when he got A.J. Brown, he had a record-breaking season. If Lamar Jackson can improve on his accuracy and the receivers can stay healthy, I think he will have a bounce-back season. Now, what if it turns into wins or not? We won't know that. But this will remind me of Jalen Hurts' first year when he struggled throwing the football. and nobody outside of nobody outside of Devontae Smith. And as soon as he get AJ Brown, he's an MVP candidate. He flies up to an MVP candidate all of a sudden. So receivers, I'm not going to say receivers don't matter. They do matter on the outside.
No one said they didn't matter. I just don't think that they have. I just think they've had the weapons, right? And we're comparing Jalen Hurts' situation to Lamar Jackson's. This is Lamar Jackson's, sixth year in the league? And It was Jalen Hurts' second full year as a starter. And then let's take it a step further when we talk about that. Do you know last year was the first year Jalen Hurts had the same coordinator for 2 straight years? The same coordinator for 2 straight years. I need you to understand that it's not the same when you add AJ Brown to a situation in Philadelphia versus what you did with Lamar Jackson by drafting 2 first-round talents and having Mark Andrews.
It got to the point where people wasn't saying Jalen Hurts wasn't the starting quarterback last year. After that last season, he almost threw 5 interceptions against Tampa Bay. So the same thing about his accuracy that you bring up on Lamar, it reminds me. It just immediately reminds me of Jalen Hurts. How he got AJ Brown, he kind of elevated because he literally against Tampa Bay, he threw down for almost 5 picks that dropped out of Tampa Bay's hand. But I'm just saying in a point that if you have better weapons on the outside, it's no such thing. I can't see no such thing that someone can elevate. But like I say, Jalen Hurts, to me, I still think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a great.
Yeah, I was screaming the same thing about Jalen Hurts because they were saying Jalen Hurts was on the bubble.
Outside of Devontae Adams, it wasn't no weapons. It wasn't nothing else It wasn't nothing else outside of Devontae Smith. It wasn't nothing else. Ain't nowhere in the world Jalen Hurts was probably gonna improve without another weapon outside of him. So I'm not gonna fault anybody. I'm not gonna fault anybody from having terrible weapons. I think Jalen Hurts outside of Devontae Adams didn't have enough weapons. I thought AJ Brown was the best thing that happened to him, and I'm gonna give Jalen Hurts his full credit. He balled out last year, and you got to give the credit to the front office. But we're gonna see Ken Lamar Jackson do the same with better weapons. But I'm not depending on Rashad Bateman because he don't stay on the field. His problem is not on the field. It's not on the field all the time. So other than that, we get to the predictions over and under NFC West division for the 49ers in the Seahawks, and that's the 49ers, the Seahawks. Who else is that? The Cardinals in that division.
The Rams.
Right. So, all right. So we got the overs and unders for those squads, for that squad right there. So San Francisco is 10.5. 10.5 over or under Mo. 10.5 wins for San Francisco.
I'm biased, but I don't think this is even being biased. I'm gonna go over. I know our quarterback position can be in flux, and our head coach can be arrogant, but I trust our head coach. I trust the play calling. The offense is going to be good. It won't be great, but it'll be very good, and the defense will be great. They'll be right back in the mix. I think when it's all said and done, we're the second best team in the conference behind the Eagles. And if they didn't win 11 or more games, I would be shocked. So with that talent on both sides of the ball and that coach and that staff, 11, more than 11.
Jay?
Yeah, I think the 49ers get 10 plus wins. I think they're over by far. Their quarterback situation is a little unpredictable, but I think Purdy proved enough last year to be able to be the starter, for them to have faith in him. We don't know what we're gonna get from Trey Lance, but I think D'Amico Ryan's departing. I think the 49ers defense may take a little step back. Especially with Joey Bosa might be holding out till he get his contract situation situated, but they'll definitely be over 10 wins unless something drastic happens. I believe in Shanahan as well, so I think they get over that.
I love D'Amico Ryans, but he was replaced by Steve Wilkes, and I don't think that's that big of a drop-off on the defensive coordinator side. I think that Steve Wilkes is going to be fine for that team. They also added Javon Hargrave to the interior to get less pressure, less double teams for Nick Bosa. I think they go over by 1 win. I think that their schedule this year is tough. I think they go 11-6. You look at their schedule. I think they lose opening week at Pittsburgh. I'm almost sure of that, right? That's like one of my surefire bets to start the season. I'm taking the Pittsburgh Steelers to beat them week 1, and then people are going to panic in San Francisco. I don't think they should panic. I think they still win 11 games. I think they still win the division, but they still got to play Cincinnati. They play that tough AFC North. That's a very tough division to play. I think, and they still got to play at Philadelphia. They got a very tough schedule. I could definitely see 6 losses on that schedule, but don't panic, 49ers fans. That team's going to be ready to rock and roll come playoff time. Kyle Shanahan knows what he's doing, and I think they're 11-6, and they breeze into the 2 or 3 seed.
I agree. I got them 1 over 11. I got them 1 over 11. I got them 1 over. So you have over and under for the Seattle Seahawks, 8.5 wins. Gene.
It's going to surprise some people. I think it goes under. They addressed a lot of things on the outside. They addressed the slot receiver and a great cornerback, but the thing they didn't address is the trenches. And teams that do not build in the trenches will die in the trenches. Their offensive line, the defensive line are weak. You have to be able to protect the quarterback. You have to be able to get after the quarterback. And Seattle can't do either one. They can't stop the run either. I think that Seattle finishes 8-9, maybe 7-10. I don't think they're under by much. I think Geno is not terrible. I think he takes a little bit of a step back. I think you started to see that near the end of last year. I don't think Geno is as bad as we've seen in New York, but I don't think he's as good as he was for the first 8 weeks as he was in Seattle. I think Geno takes a little bit of a step back. I think they go 8-9 or 7-10.
Okay.
Man, you said it was what over? It was 8.5. 8.5.
8.5. Yeah.
I want them to be more. I want them to get more than that, but I don't think they will. I think they probably similar to what Gene said, like 8-9, somewhere around that period of time. That record. Yeah, they look, they got the offense, it looks good, but like you said, if you don't have no offensive lineman, can't get after the quarterback, it's a recipe for disaster. And just like that 49ers team, like they got the AFC North, so does the Seahawks. And it's going to be tough for them to get over 8 wins, man. And then, they got the 49ers, and then they got their own division. So it's going to be difficult for them to do it. I want them to get over 8, but right now I don't see them getting over that.
Mo?
So I'm just going to hold at 8. I don't think they go under, but I think that's what they will win. I agree with Gene. I watched a lot of Seahawks games, and I thought at the end of the season, he didn't look like a Pro Bowl quarterback. He had a terrific season. He started throwing picks. He started being a lot less accurate. He's going to be good, but I don't think he'll be a Pro Bowl quarterback the way he was for most of last season. And I also think, like both guys said, you can have all the skill position talent you want. If your O-line is weak, it won't matter. If Geno's running for his life, it won't matter. So I don't think they're a playoff team. I think 8 wins is right about what they'll be.
Yeah, I'm the only lone wolf. I got over 8.5 wins. I just got them 2 over 10 wins. San Francisco wins the division at 11-6. So you got the Los Angeles Rams, 6.5. Mo.
I'm going under. I think Matthew Stafford is actually a gifted quarterback, but that offensive line is beat up. They didn't really make major additions to it. You're bringing a quarterback back with the type of injuries he's had with that offensive line. You've got one real gifted talent on the outside with Kupp. The running game, it's not there. The defense isn't what it was. I'm just going on under this. This team looks like a team that you're going to get a chance to see just how good a coach McVay is. I think McVay is actually a great play caller, but I don't think he can play call his way to a good season with the lack of talent they have on the offensive side of the football. I just don't think they're going to be very good.
It's not just the offensive side of football. Sorry, my bad, Jay.
Oh nah, man. I'm with you. Both sides of the ball. I don't got them. I got them under as well, man. We don't know Matt Stafford's elbow. That's an issue. Both sides of the ball have lost key pieces. They really haven't been able to replace those guys. I mean, you got Aaron Donald, but it's just I haven't seen anything that gives me any hope that they can get over 6 wins, man. So I got them going under.
You guys are all big football fans, right? Outside of skill position players, which means wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. Outside of skill position players and Aaron Donald, can you name me 4 Rams?
Nope.
No.
I mean, Coach Mike, because Coach is like studies it all.
Yeah. Stinson Bennett, and
Van
Stafford and Cup.
No, I said outside of skill position
outside. Yeah, no.
You got outside of Van Jefferson too?
Outside of skill position players. No wide receivers, no running backs, no quarterbacks, and not Aaron Donald. Can you name me 4 players on their roster?
Damn.
That's tough. I ain't gonna lie.
And that tells you exactly how bad the Rams roster is. Like, I'm not kidding with you. I'm going to read you, just for fun, I'm going to read you their defensive depth chart. Kobe Turner, Bobby Brown III, Byron Young, Ernest Jones, Christian Rosebaum, Michael Hoek, Robert Rochelle, Jordan Fuller, Russ Yeast, and Kobe Durant. That's their starting defense. A lot of Pro Bowlers on that group, huh?
Mm-mm.
They're going to stink. They're going to go under. They're going to be terrible.
All right, so we all can agree on that. So we got the bigger name down here. We got the bigger name down here. Oh my God! Look, it is when Gene doing that, it's not so good. Not so good. We had Arizona, who they got worse, who they actually got worse at 4-5.5.
Jeez.
Go ahead, G.
You know, I just talked about the Rams having an awful roster. I think the Cardinals have the worst roster in football. This is part of the reason why I think that the San Francisco Niners will still win 11 games. The Arizona Cardinals roster to start the season is Colt McCoy, Greg Dortch, Rondell Moore, Hollywood Brown, Zach Ertz coming off an ACL injury, a couple offensive linemen, and a terrible defense. I can't, and not to mention, not just the terrible defense, they made one of the worst coaching hires. You've hired a coach that didn't prepare his team for the Super Bowl and got fined for tampering because he was already planning to be an Arizona Cardinals coach while he was preparing for the Super Bowl. That's who you hired. Bro, it's terrible when you look at the Arizona Cardinals situation. You invested all that money in Kyler Murray. He's selfish. Brian Flores wouldn't even interview with your team. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'll be the defensive coordinator over here in Minnesota. I'll wait another year. It's a joke. Arizona's going to be awful. They're going to be terrible. I want you to look at Arizona's schedule. And outside of the Rams, name me winnable games. And like people like look at the schedule and they're like, well, they could win at Houston. No, they can't. No, they can't. If Arizona wins at Houston, Houston's going to be one of the worst teams in football. Now, the saving grace for the Arizona Cardinals are they're probably going to have the first pick, and they're probably going to have a top 10 pick where Houston picks, maybe 8, 9, 10.
I love that. I can't wait to get on the field. I love that. I want people to keep sleeping on us. I like that.
Well, where do you think the Houston Texans are going to finish? You think they make the playoffs?
No, I don't think they make the playoffs.
If they don't make the playoffs, then they'll finish 50 in the 9 to 15 range.
No, I
didn't say 2 pick. I didn't say 3 pick. I said 9 to 10.
No, I think we're gonna finish 7 and 10.
It is
7 and 10. I say reason I think we're gonna be improved, but I just love what people say. I just love when people say they think we're gonna be like worse. I just like that.
I think you're gonna be a lot better than they were.
Y'all are gonna be yeah.
We were actually the best team in our division last year. We were actually the best team in our division.
I am not saying anything bad about
No. I'm not saying you. Everybody else, the way I keep hearing, that's why I turn it on. I love hearing about it. I love hearing.
Y'all are a team to
go back to the division record last year. It makes me go back to the division. We were actually the best team in our division. The division wins. The division wins, not outside of the division. Jaguars were better than everybody outside of the division. That's why they actually made the playoffs. They wasn't better than us in the division. They were better outside of the division. That was the reason why they actually made it. They were better outside of the division, not better in the division. But go ahead, Jay. Are you going?
And with the number 1 pick, the Arizona Cardinals get Caleb Williams, man. They probably I don't know, man. I don't know if they're going to get him or probably Marvin Harrison Jr., but they're definitely going to be bad this year. Kyler Murray is coming back. Mr. Call of Duty is coming back off the ACL injury, so he's automatically going to miss half the season. Gene just told y'all Colt McCoy is going to be the starting the year off. Their schedule is tough. Like we've been mentioning, they got their own division, own divisional opponents, as well as the AFC North and a few other teams. But it's just bad, man. I think it's kind of some karma for them letting go Steve Wilkes. Gene mentioned him over in San Francisco, man. Letting Steve Wilkes go. I think that was a horrible job after 1 year. So this is kind of karma for them. So hey, I love it, man. They're definitely gonna be under, man. I'd be surprised if they get 3 games this year.
Jay, I'm just wondering. Steve Wilkes only got 1 year. You felt like he wasn't given enough time in Arizona, right?
Nah, I don't.
Okay. Do you think Cliff Kingsbury is given enough time?
More than enough.
Time.
Just wondering. I don't know what the difference between the two coaches are.
I thought Steve Wilkes should have been considered as a head coach for the Carolina Panthers.
He definitely should have been there. He should have been there.
The head coach of that team.
Just don't know what the difference is between those two coaches. Why was one not given enough time and one was given too much time?
Too much time.
Just don't know the difference.
I have no idea.
We'll never know.
Yeah, go ahead, Mo.
The gentleman has spoken. They're gonna be horrible, and I actually think Kyler Murray's not gonna play at all this year.
That's what I said. I said the same thing.
He's not gonna play at all this year. Why should he get beat up on a team that's not gonna do anything? He's not gonna play. So
more Call of Duty time.
Yeah, he's gonna. The only football he's gonna play this year is Madden. He's not playing.
Double XP weekends, bro.
Hey. I completely said that. About time. I don't know when Kyler Murray is scheduled to come back. I don't know if it's week 6 or something. But whatever he come back, whether if it's later in the season or if they 0-10 or 0-7, I will consider not playing Kyler Murray throughout the whole season. You're already bad. Why throw him out there? Why
so if y'all are the Cardinals GM and y'all get the number 1 pick, just who are you? Anybody in particular or any position that you're going after?
I'm trading back because I have too much money invested in Kyler Murray. I mean, everybody keeps talking about them taking
Caleb Williams.
I disagree with them.
They just re-signed. They just re-signed Murray.
I think what they do is they trade back, and I think they need a lot of. I think they need a lot of help, right?
Yep.
So I think they used their 1 pick on Marvin Harrison Jr. to get Kyler Murray a number 1 receiver, and I think they use another pick on the defensive side of the ball or continue to bolster that offensive line.
Got you. So that was the end of the NFC West side of things, the over and unders of the Vegas odds. So we got one more topic to talk about, and it's about Tua, Justin Fields have all been passed on 2 seasons of quarterback. Which quarterback do you want to see on his second season, and do you think these 4 quarterbacks have passed up the opportunity? I'm gonna start with you, Gene.
So, are you asking who I'd like to see if everyone said yes, or are you asking who I'd like to see knowing what I know?
Knowing what you know at this point.
All right. So, what they did last year was genius. They took a quarterback in Patrick Mahomes, which is the elite quarterback in the league. They took a middle-of-the-road quarterback in Kirk Cousins, and they took a bottom feeder in Marcus Mariota. And they showed you all 3 and how they went about their seasons, and I loved how they did that. I think it was excellent work by Peyton Manning. I don't know if it was planned that way, but it came out perfect. If you haven't watched it yet, you should watch it. Jalen Hurts declined it. Tua declined it. Justin Fields declined it. So knowing what I know, I have to try to figure out. I would love to see Joe Burrow. If we're going to talk about Patrick Mahomes, how do you go from Patrick Mahomes to who? You go from Patrick Mahomes to Joe Burrow. And then I love the structure, the way it's set up. I would love to see Derek Carr in New Orleans. I want to see a middle-of-the-road quarterback like Derek Carr or Kirk Cousins like in New Orleans. And then as far as a preparation thing, put me inside the Tennessee Titans locker room and let me see Ryan Tannehill try to hold off Will Levis and Malik Willis in Tennessee. I feel like it would just be good TV. It would be great breakdown to see how these quarterbacks handle different parts of adversity. You got 2 quarterbacks that will start the whole year for their team, just like Mahomes and Kirk Cousins did, and you got another guy that's going to try to hold off a position battle, and Ryan Tannehill. I think they would be the three I would be most interested in watching.
Jay?
It's crazy you said Tannehill because he reported that he turned down an opportunity for season 1, I believe, the first season, which I thought was kind of like interesting. But as a fan, I would have liked to see Hurts and some of those guys that declined. But like Gene said, you got to go Joe Burrow, right? Joe Burrow, number 1. Number 2, I think you can go a few different ways with this. I think you can go Dak. You can go maybe like a Matthew Stafford, or you can go like maybe a Jared Goff or somebody like that. And then maybe you can bring a rookie on there, like a Bryce Young, CJ Stroud or something like that. Or, maybe like I don't know, Jordan Love or somebody. I don't know. You can bring him on there as well, too, just to see how he prepares for his first year as a starter. Taking the reins from Aaron Rodgers and things like that. So they got a few options, but I think right now I would go Joey B, maybe Dak, and maybe like CJ Stroud or Bryce Young.
Go ahead, Mo.
So I want Joe Burrow. I want Joe Cool. I'd like to see Sunshine Trevor Lawrence in the continued development there in Jacksonville as he ascends. And I thought a good middle of the road kind of guy to me. I think I'd like to see Dak Prescott just for the polarization of it all, the pressure that he always plays under. I would like to see Dak Prescott. And look, I know Cowboy fans, just the fact that Cowboy fans would comment, that's like low hanging fruit. So I'd enjoy that all the way around.
I feel like we watched Dak Prescott's quarterback club already. The Dallas Cowboys get way too much. No, I mean, yeah, that and Jared Goff was on Hard Knocks, but like the Dallas Cowboys get too much exposure to begin with.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see any more of them. Like, guys, Geno Smith would be a great answer here too. Like, when you want to watch the adversity and his up and down in Seattle, I just think that when you look at different situations, you can kind of break them down. And ECG's got it perfect, right? Joe Burrow, Derek Carr, Taylor Heineke. I think Taylor Heineke ends up starting in Atlanta this year. I think Taylor Heineke starts. I said this since draft day. I said this since the college football semifinal when I watched Happy Feet Ritter throw the game away versus Alabama. He is not it. He is not him. And if you're Atlanta and you want to win 9 games this year, they have their over-under set at 8.5. You don't start at Desmond Ridder. I'm telling you that right now.
Yeah, I thought Baker Mayfield as well. I thought you could add Baker Mayfield somewhere in there as well.
You know what? I think Baker would be a good one. He would be great TV. I would like to see Baker Mayfield.
I just think Baker Mayfield need to stop doing commercials and earn himself a starting job.
He still do. I ain't seen too many progressive commercials lately.
I ain't seen too much either from him and Kyle Trask. They got a quarterback battle going on over there. But other than that, Mo, you got your guy, man?
You know what, Coach? Because Gene was coming on, and my gut feeling is because Gene is one of those guys that knows a little bit about everything. I'm feeling that Gene is kind of a movie buff, right?
Yeah,
definitely a movie buff. So I thought, let's do something fun. And so what I wanted to do was give me your top 5 boxing movies of all time.
Oh, Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm kidding. You got to give me a second.
I'll give you mine first.
Yeah, there you go.
Raging Bull. I love Raging Bull. The original Rocky, Cinderella Man, The Hurricane. And I don't know, a lot of people haven't seen this maybe. It's a movie called The Fighter. If you know about Mickey Ward and what he went through to become the champion that he was, that's a great movie. So those are my 5.
Gotcha. I like Creed. I like Creed 2, Creed 1. I like Rocky. I also watched the Mike Tyson movie. I also watched his movie while he got a movie out on YouTube that I always watch. It goes through what he was doing, his personal life and stuff like that. and how he dumped his trainer, and all of that, and how he started being undisciplined in camp and stuff, and knocking out the sparring people, and being just ruthless, a ruthless guy in person. It actually shows that, and how he fell apart with Custom Model passed away and stuff. He didn't really trusting nobody. So I only and I liked that Monroe movie with Wesley Snipes and stuff like that. I like that.
I know what you're talking about.
When Monroe beat him up, and stuff. I can only name 4. Those are the 4 boxing movies.
That's fine.
I got you. I got mine. So I'm gonna give one Rocky. I'm going Rocky 4. Rocky 4 is my favorite Rocky movie when he beats the Russian. That the scenes in that movie are incredible. I have to go Creed. Let me go Creed 3. Right. Barely edging out Creed 1. But I'll go Creed 3. Cinderella Man was one of my favorite boxing movies of all time.
I love that movie. James
J. Braddock, and understanding, the Great Depression and how poor he was and what he had to do for money, and he wasn't eating, like the boxing gloves when he got the rice right before he ate. Like right before he got the fight, like that's a just incredible story.
I did forget about that damn movie. Ali is my 5th.
Ali is my 4th. Ali is my 4th one I got there. I loved watching Will. I think Will Smith is one of the top 5 greatest actors of all time.
Yep.
I think he did such an incredible job playing Ali with the voice, the inflection, and then Raging Bull. How do you not have Raging Bull as one of your top 5 movies? So I mean, there's so many good ones, right? There's so many good ones. I want to put more than one Rocky movie on there because I'm a huge Rocky fan.
Look, add on. I would say add on. Look, I've got one that just came to my head right now. The Hurricane. That just came to my head.
If I wasn't using Rocky 4, my second favorite Rocky movie is Rocky 2. My second favorite Creed movie is Creed 1. I love the entire franchise. Give me all 9 of them. I want to just eliminate Rocky 5 because it was so bad.
That's the worst one ever.
Yeah. But there's so many good ones.
But he made up for it with Rocky Balboa. That's a great movie.
Man, I got something for you, right? This is for you because you brought this up. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and it will beat you to your knees and keep you there if you let it. You, me, or nobody is going to hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, go out and get what you're worth. But you got to be willing to take the hits. And don't tell me you're not where you want to be because him or her or anybody, cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. That was for y'all.
Tell me Gene's not a movie buff. Come on, man.
Hey, you gotta give it up for Gene on that one, man. You gotta give it up for him, man. You gotta give it up for him.
Man, you gotta give it up. That was a hell of a speech right there. I like it.
That quote sits in my living room. It sits over my bathroom. I have it multiple places in my house. It's I love that quote to his son because that's the type of relationship I have with my father. He wouldn't allow excuses. He wouldn't allow me to make excuses or blame others for my wins or losses. It's me versus me every single day when we wake up.
There you go.
Jay?
Hey, man, y'all named most of them. I like Ali. I like Hurricane. I like Creed. I like Rocky 4. I'm just actually listening and looking at some of the movies y'all are naming, as well as in the chat, so I can go watch them. I've never seen Raging Bull or Southpaw, so I think those are 2 movies that I'm gonna go try to find and go watch.
There's a movie called The Champ. That's a good boxing movie. I mean, there are so many great boxing movies. But yeah, I would advise you to check them all out, Jay. I mean,
I'm gonna check some of those out.
Binge your day away.
Can you take that damn highlighted comment off the board, please? Damn, Control. I give you nothing but cinematic quotes, and that's what you do to me. I give you the touching story of me and my father, and that's what you do to me.
Right.
This is supposed to be my friend right here. It's hurtful right here.
Oh, one more movie I throw out there that I thought was really good. $1 Million Baby. I thought that was a really good movie. If you've never seen $1 Million Baby, that's a really good movie.
Got you. So it's been an awesome morning show, fellas, man. Shout out to everybody that had the chat going today. Shout out to everybody, man. Gene, tell them who they can follow you at.
Bro, just about everywhere. I got 3 more podcasts today. Birds Deep returns tonight, 6 to 6:50. Me, D. Godfrey, and Cool McCain are going to be reintroducing Birds Deep on the Sports Empire Network. Pre-game in Pigskin makes its triumphant return. And let me tell you, the #1 show on Sports Empire Network, Pre-game in Pigskin, for the entire year last year is coming back tonight. Myself, D. Godfrey, and Kyle Edwards, we have a lot of fun on that show. And then tonight at 10 o'clock, you have the Guys Empire as I take on the little kids that don't really understand about 90s basketball. And 33 out of 35 possible points the last 2 weeks. I'm going to try to go for a clean sweep of 35 straight. I don't think they're going to let me get there. I think they're going to find a way to give somebody else points.
Gina, you're going to have to do what some of the champs did in boxing, and you're going to just have to vacate the belt because nobody can beat you? Is that what it is?
I actually just think they should really try to work on. I think they should create a tournament of people to come against me at the end of the month and me do once a month. I feel like you're watering down your product by having me come on so often. But, hey, listen, I get it. I'm a draw. I understand it.
Hey, and let's keep it 100, though. Ryan and Trey, those cats know what they're talking about.
They do. I'm just busting chops.
No doubt. And look, Bino, like I said, that performance last time.
Man, I like Bino, man.
Shout out to Bino.
Bino, that my boy Bino. I'll room for Bino. I'll room for Bino hard.
I will be in the
I didn't think he was gonna beat Gene, but I'll room for him to be better than he was. He was better than what he was. So
he was a lot more comfortable. Yeah. Bino's on the come up.
Yeah, that guy Bino did a hell of
real quick. This man says this, right? I'm going to tell you something right now about Cottrell. I've said time after time after time again, the one man that can come and take a trivia belt from me, the one man that can debate with me and win points is Cottrell. And this is what this man does. Listen, humility is better than everything that you're doing right now, Cottrell. You're taking shots at your boy, and all I've done is big you up. But that's all right, man. If that's the way you feel, man, that's okay. But I'll continue to big up my friend Cottrell. Why he continues to take shots at me. It's hurtful.
Yeah, and we gotta see Rob one more time. We gotta see Rob with him. And I'm thinking he's starting to be we may got the Freddie 2.0 in the network. We may got the Freddie 2.0.
You're right.
Nah, Coach, y'all got the Freddie 2.0.
That was ridiculous. That was one of the ridiculous statements I ever heard on Friday last week, and that was one of the most ridiculous statements I ever.
What was the statement?
I know it's 2 different sports, but I think it was something about. I think it was something about LeBron and Ali. He mentioned LeBron.
He said LeBron was a greater activist.
Acting Ali. That's what he actually said. And Doug said, "Wow, you had people in the chat went crazy. Mo went crazy. Doug went crazy." Come
on, man. Look, come on. LeBron's done a lot of good things, but stop it, man. Stop it. No way. That is insanity. Stop it.
Hey, LeBron isn't even the greatest activist in his own sport.
The truth. He said that was ridiculous. I was like, "What?" Everybody
was on the show last week with the Guys Empire, right? I'm not sure how much you guys caught of it, but we talked about the top 5 most influential basketball players of all time, and not one of those dudes had Bill Russell on their list. And when I said Bill Russell and what he's done, they said, "Well, Bill Russell's really looked at as a joke." I said, "Are y'all serious? You're talking about the first African-American coach of all time. You're talking about a guy that played in Boston, the most racist city in the country in the 60s and 70s. You want to talk about a guy who won 11 championships? I could not believe that. But they gave Chris Bosh and Ja Morant on their top 5 most influential basketball players. What? I swear to God, it's not a joke. Not a joke. But Bill Russell's a joke. He's a laughing stock.
I was in there the whole time, and I heard that. I was like, "God, that was like going back and forth."
Hey, that might need to be clipped right there. Yeah.
Oh, I swear to God, I was sitting there, like my 5 answers, and like I forgot Steph because it comes off the dome, right? Like you don't get any prep on the questions. So they just basically give you the questions. And I said Bill Russell, I said Magic, I said Michael Jordan, I said Allen Iverson because of the culture, what he brought to the game. And I said LeBron James because of what he's done in the last 15, 20 years. But if I had to redo the list, I'd probably remove LeBron and I'd probably put Steph Curry there for what he's done for the 3-point shooting. It's just influential, right? It's not about who's the best player, but if I had to remove one, it would either be Magic or LeBron. I can't remove Magic from that list.
Yeah, Jay, go ahead and tell people where they can follow you at, Jay. Go ahead and tell people.
Hey, man, Jay Jones on all 4 social media platforms. The Man Cave Sports Podcast. We drop Saturday, 613 Faith Productions on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. Find me here with you guys Monday, Tuesdays, possible Thursdays, IOW Sports as well, man. Appreciate y'all for having me on again.
Yes, sir. Mo?
Coach, you know where to find me here at the home. Empire Sports Network with you, Coffee Sports in the Morning, Monday through Friday. I am blessed and honored to get to be on the cheap seats with Gene and the guys. It is a blast. Those brothers, Cal and them, they bring it every week.
Yeah. I'm blessed and honored to be a part of the network as a whole. And even though all of us, it happens. We all may say some blasphemous stuff, but I pretty much enjoy all the blasphemy that we do because it is entertaining and it is entertaining a lot. But when I hear LeBron James and Ali in the same category, that went crazy. And you got Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be the best quarterback in the league at 39. But I love them. I love my guys. Love my guys to death. So
we should have an award show, Coach. And we give away the most blasphemous comment. You got watered down Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes. You got LeBron James, a bigger activist than Muhammad Ali. John Morant is the top 5 most influential player.
Crazy right there.
Those three right there.
They're finalists.
You gonna have more people saying wild shit, trying to get that award. You gonna hear so much more like blasphemy.
You don't want that award. Who wants that award?
They're not trying to get that award, but they're earning it.
Who had the dumbest comment of the whole year? I want to win that award. I don't want to win that award.
Yeah, man. It's fun. And Freddie's still getting kind of killed for that comment. Yo, he still getting killed for the comment that he made about that point.
I'm gonna start my franchise today with 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Are you out of your damn mind? I almost had a connection on the damn show.
Hey, man, that's wild right there.
That was crazy, man. I had to. Well, I couldn't believe what I was hearing on that. But as for Coach Dante, your boy, Wild and Wild Sports Gene, come check him out later tonight in his debates. And on the Birds Deep, you got my boy, you got my brother, my division brother down here at the bottom to my left, Jay Jones, and you got Mo Better. And we'll see y'all guys later. We are signing off for the morning show. See you guys later, y'all.
Peace.
Later, y'all.